Hey there, everybody, and welcome to Playoff Central Live, presented by AT&T. Good to have you with us. Matt Weiner, the Hall of Famer, Isiah Thomas, Channing Frye right over there. The Nuggets face elimination for the first time this postseason tonight with a Game 6 on their home floor against the top-seeded Thunder, who owned the fourth quarter of Game 5 to give themselves a 3-2 series lead. The news tonight is the uncertainty of Jamal Murray's status. He is questionable due to an illness. Interim head coach David Adelman couldn't speak to the nature of the illness, but they're not sure if he's going to be able to play tonight, Zeke, facing elimination in Denver. Obviously, we don't know what he has or how he's feeling. But what do you make of this news?
Well, it's definitely, tough news for Denver to hear. However, over the years, I've seen some of the best players have some of their best performances when they're sick or when they're injured. And if I'm OKC, I'm not falling for old Jamal sick,
right,
old Murray sick, and then he comes out and gets 28, but he's not feeling good.
Yeah.
We've seen this play out a couple of times. Hopefully Murray will play, but I have seen players perform at a very high level while they're sick or while they're injured.
I think for me, this is one of those things you don't want to let your guard down if you're OKC, right? You have a game plan and you're locked in, right? These are two Rams headbutting.
Yes.
Now all of a sudden a horn comes off. You're like, yeah, I got him. But no, that Ram's going to ram you a little bit harder. So for me, OKC needs to continue on with this, re-strategize as much as possible, but they need to be the aggressor this game because Jokic is going to go, y'all need me for more? Okay, here we go. Now, what y'all need, 70, 20, and 15? Okay, I got you. And that's what's crazy about how good Jokic is. And I think AG is going to have a big game. He's better when he's aggressive. But Jokic is the type of guy to go, y'all need 60 and 20? I mean, I got it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be tired, but I got you.
Also, ask the Knicks about playing a desperate opponent without a star player in the lineup. Looking at last night's game without Tatum, obviously. But if there's a team in the postseason that can't afford to lose a major piece because they're so thin and because their coach seems so reluctant to go deep into his bench, it's Denver.
Yeah, and I mean, this is just a testament to how absolutely epic and timeless Jokic is. Everyone on that court, he just makes up. You made a mistake, don't worry about it. I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, you had a turnover, don't worry about it. I got you. You can't shoot. Don't worry about it. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to shoot because they're going to leave you so open because they're afraid of me. But I've just never seen a player control the game like this. And if you're a basketball head, you're watching where he gets the ball, where his spots are. But then as a true hooper, you love that he can be a bully.
Yeah.
He like, oh, you little elbow to the sternum, layup. Now come get some of that again, or you got the double. So for me watching this series, it's been amazing seeing OKC throw 50 people at him, you know?
Yeah.
8th playoff game in 15 days, as you can see. That's true for a Denver team back on their home floor tonight. Home court hasn't meant terribly much in the postseason so far for any team. For Denver, Jokic will have to do what tonight to preserve their season?
Well, he has to deliver the same effort and game that he delivered in Game 5 out on the road. I think Michael Porter has to shoot better. I think he will shoot better at home. He was 1 for 7 in that game. This is a game, believe it or not, where you look at, a Westbrook and he may come through. And you see with Jokic here, he's figured out where the double team's coming from. Right there, double team was coming from a right. He shot a left-handed hook. Now he sets a screen and he says, oh, I'm going to give you the shot fake, get you off the feet. And normally we have a big running at him. He's got a small running at him now so he can shoot over him. So Jokic's intelligence and his ability to read the defense, understand the defense, now he's playing against smaller players. Bully ball, back you down. Either you're going to take this elbow in the mouth or you're going to give me 2 points. You make the decision. Again, here, he's out on the wing. He moves around. And what is he looking for? He is looking for that smaller defender. That smaller defender gets mixed up. Now he drops a 3. So where they were effective at the last couple of games in defending Jokic, they always found a way to double team him or challenge his shot with an extra big. They had 2 7-footers out on the floor. His intellect has found a way not only to rid himself of the other double teamer, who's the 7-footer, but now he's always playing against a smaller player that he can maneuver and work around. And that's just, his intellect chanting and understanding the game, understanding how you're defending him, and understanding exactly what he needs to do offensively to be effective.
Yeah, to me, it's just with his skill set, he's like, okay, that makes me uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. I need you. Where's this guy? And when you're playing with a team in Denver throughout the regular season, they've had good games where they've shot 3, but they're not a three-point shooting team.
No.
OKC has done a great job of keeping length on him, trying to keep him off the free throw line, wearing him down with people. I mean, what they're going to need from him, honestly, is a 40-point game. And they're going to need Aaron Gordon to really be aggressive and other guys to just hit the rim and give him a chance to rebound. Just hit the rim.
Yeah.
But, man, it's wild to see that his brain, the great players I've ever played with, you do something new to them, and it takes them 2 possessions before they're like, all right, training, switch with this guy.
There you go.
And all of a sudden now it's a chess match. And this is what I've been excited about, not only in the previous series, but this series also, is his chess match of where he's catching it. Is he setting the screen? Is he getting the screen on him? Is he getting a cross screen?
Yeah.
And he sees which guys are uncomfortable. Like Jalen Williams was uncomfortable guarding him for a second, and it got him that opportunity to shoot. But they are going to need, they're going to need this.
Well, one of the big wins for OKC in this series is that Jokic is only averaging 5 assists.
Only averaging 5 assists, but, now that we into game 5, 6, and 7, this is where, the big guys really start to wear on you. And this is where, like, the Brons, the Porters, and the Westbrooks, these guys now step up. Why do they step up? Because the game, not only does it slows down, but fatigue has really set in. You understand each other's plays. You understand each other's movements, your little bumps and bruises. You're not as fast as you was in game 1. You don't jump as high as you did in game 2. And now a guy like Jokic, as we seen in the last game in OKC, now his size really comes into play. So the longer this goes, like game 6, game 7, this is when the big guys come. So game 5, it's game 1, game 2, game 3, game 4, game 5. But now, after game 5, it goes in quarters. So it's the start of this game is the 5th quarter of last game. It's the 6th quarter. It's the 7th quarter. There's no more game 1, game 2, game 3. Now the series breaks down in game, 5, 6, and 7. Now you're playing by quarters. And this when big guys say, okay, little fella. and you saw that with LeBron.
Yeah.
When y'all came back down from 3-1.
Yeah, we said no jump shots unless it was JR or unless you're wide open.
And all of a sudden, LeBron looked like he was 8 feet tall out on the floor playing against everybody, and he was just playing bully ball.
Yeah.
And y'all come back down from an historical, y'all don't get enough credit for it, an historical 3-1 deficit in the NBA Finals against a 73-9 team. And this guy here, with the help of his friends, they did something that should never, ever, ever be forgotten in the game of basketball.
Last time it's happened in a non-bubble situation, which seems like its own playoff category. Yeah. So you saw the graphic a moment ago. Jokic's numbers in wins and losses have been pretty similar. He's not shot the ball particularly well by his standards in this series. Beyond him, and Murray's the wild card here, beyond Murray, who are you looking for production tonight from Denver if they're going to extend this series?
I mean, the obvious answer is AG or Aaron Gordon. I just need him to be aggressive, those extra plays. I just need, looking at Brown, looking at Westbrook, looking at the rest of that group. I'm really like, Porter Jr. especially. Just give me something. Give me a quarter where you get.
With him, it's mostly about the shooting, right?
Yeah, the whole team is mostly about shooting. He can't, you're asking why does he average 5 assists? Well, the other teammates can't kick that thing in the ocean, right? It's, you look at why they're double teaming, why they can double team Jokic. It's because Westbrook, Porter Jr. has been absolutely crazy bad from 3. Yeah. Maybe it's his injury. Maybe it's the situation. That's just not who Brown is, right? And that's not who Westbrook is. I need you to go out there and just shoot the right shots. Hit the rim. Mm-hmm. Just hit the rim in a way where you're not shooting scud missiles. Give your chance. Get offensive rebounds. But the thing is, if you miss 2 or 3, you got to shoot that 4th one, because the minute you start driving in there, then the team has you. Then it's a mental game. Shoot the right shots and live with that. You could always work on something you shot, not what you haven't. That was my motto back in the day. So if you're 1 for 10, there were great shots. Yeah, you listen, brother, you're going to get roasted on social media, but you got to keep shooting that thing, because that's what's best for your team. And they need to get out. And you said they're going to have weak, wobbly legs. They need to get out and get early transition baskets, because if they get in the half court, it's barbecue chicken.
I'm going to make a bold statement here. Believe it or not, I'm going to go out on a limb. And if Denver wins and plays well, I'm going to say it's going to be because Westbrook has had one of them kind of games. And I think he's due for one of these games where he almost has a triple-double, because it's in him, and we haven't seen it in a minute. But I think tonight may be a night where he just breaks out one of these crazy games, and all of a sudden at the end of the show, we're saying, hey, Westbrook was the difference maker in this game.
You know he's going to make an impact.
Oh, yeah.
One way or the other, right? He's going to make an impact.
The Sour Patch Kid.
He will have an impact on this game, of course, and if Murray's out, one more rotation player, they're going to need something from him. Nikola Jokic, 44 in Game 5, wasn't enough. What will it take tonight? Now, there's some thought with their relatively thin rotation that Denver's wearing down late in games, and there's some evidence for that, because OKC is plus 26 in the 4th quarter over the last 2 games. Their coach, Mark Daigneault, says it's part of his young team's growth process.
I actually think we're a better team today than we were at the beginning of the series. Like we're definitely evolving and growing and learning, despite the fact that we think we can play with anybody. Game 6 is going to be a massive test for us in Denver, because it's on the road and because of the way they're going to play, and we'll grow from that as well, regardless of outcome.
Gonna go and just give it to them. Game 6, I mean, we are playing in front of our crowds. Only since the second game was the kind of blowout, and every other game was kind of interesting game. We were there, so I think we have a chance, and we will play our best, hopefully.
I don't think Jokic should be going through any type of slander when, he's still playing All-NBA, MVP, Hall of Fame type of level. I don't ever think it's his fault for missing a couple touch shots that he's been making his whole career. I don't think that's fair.
How confident are you that we'll all be back here this weekend?
Very confident. I always am.
Of course, Jokic and that guy, the 2 MVP finalists, the center of this series, of course. OKC, Channing, has lived on its defense all season long. That defense has shown up in this series in a lot of ways. They swarm, they rotate, they cover for each other, but they have a unique challenge in Jokic, and they've thrown 10 different players at him so far. What has been their best bet?
Wearing them down and doing that. As good as Jokic is, it's like the David and Goliath thing. It's like, do you have one big gun or do you have a bunch of little mini guns? And what they're doing now, what they've seen is they need to play not only boxes and elbows, but Jokic is being put in uncomfortable situations where he's not able to make the A to B pass. He has to make home run passes. Now look at this right here. One thing that Zeke brought up is watch Chet Holmgren and watch SGA. The guards always swipe down while the bigs are going to contest high without fouling. And then you're going to rebound that basketball with that 7-2 Chet Holmgren. Again, here, you have 2 7-footers on them. You have high hands, and you create havoc. But look where the OKC is. Lou Dort was there for him to play this. Now, you play this game with your hands up high. You swipe, so he has an early pickup, right? A little uncomfortable early pickup. And then you contest again with another 7-footer. For me, what OKC has done, and what I think the fans and people listening is, watch when Jokic dribbles, SGA never tries to swipe over top unless it's a automatic. Mm-hmm. Anytime he's trying to get him to pick that ball up early, an uncomfortable position. And what they're doing, people say play boxes and elbows, but they're giving up the long pass where they're putting Chet, or maybe that's Hartenstein or Williams, bless you, on the other side, where now he has to make this long pass over 2 7-footers. Mm-hmm. That's uncomfortable for him. And they are willing to live with Michael Porter Jr. on a contest closeout, Russell Wilson on a contest closeout, and at times, depending on AG's temperature, a contest closeout. So, Russell Westbrook. And then for me, I just think they are daring them to drive again. They're one of the best teams at closing out, making you drive, closing that out, and then when you go to that spin, somebody is right there. And I think Alex Caruso, when he comes off the bench, we'll see that. He changes that game because of he's like a tiny white Draymond for OKC. Right? He's just back there saying, hey, do this, go here, flip this, go there. It's like so awesome to watch this little chess match. It's all these little ants versus a grasshopper.
Their ability to work together as a unit defensively is incredible. And they cover for each other like no team in the NBA. What has stood out for you?
Well, Channing hit on the probably the most important part. You know, your defense is only as good as your weak side can help and recover. Now, what makes the recovery possible on the weak side is when that offensive player has to put that ball in the air. He's got 2 7-footers on him, so he's got to throw that ball in the air. By the time that ball travels in the air, OKC's weak side is quick enough now to recover. Normally, we see Jokic throwing bullet point passes through the middle of the zone or the defense. Now OKC is forcing him to put it in the air. That gives them an extra step, an extra half second to recover to those shooters and put pressures on those shooters. That's the difference. When that ball has to go in the air, now the defense has a chance to help and recover. But when that ball is on a line drive rocket right to that offensive player on the weak side, that weak side defender has no chance to recover. So OKC's ability to help, recover, high hands, ball in the air, that gives me an extra half second to a second to recover on the weak side to that shooter, to challenge the shot. Thus, Michael Porter has a 1-for-7 night.
This deep into the series, everybody knows each other.
Yeah.
OKC has been great, again, defensively all season long. Is there anything else to try against Jokic? I mean, all in all, even though he's got crazy numbers, if you're the Thunder or a fan of the Thunder, you're living with what's happening here.
I'm living with what's happening, but again, I'm a little worried now if I'm OKC because Game 5 in my place, big fella had his best game of the series. And again, now Game 6 at home, he ain't in a slump no more. You know, we had him in a slump. He wasn't shooting well. He's figured it out now. And again, game, 5, 6, 7, this is when the big guys come out to play. And Channing, you mentioned 2 7-footers, right? But they 2 skinny 7-footers. This is where weight starts to apply. The weight of Jokic now, leaning on those skinny, lean guys, this is where he starts to apply his weight. This is where his bump becomes a little bit harder. His lean becomes a little bit harder. And by the way, when you go back just a little bit further, because the weight of the series that the big fella is carrying, now he starts to huff and puff and blow your house down. That's where we are.
You weren't necessarily in the post, but you had to deal with big guys. That wears on you over the course of the.
I wasn't in the post, but I had to guard the post. I think that was what my special skill was. I came in as a center, had to guard guys like Shaq and Yao Ming, went to some awesome places, learned from some good defenders. And so for me, it was a mismatch. And so when you're guarding him on the post.
Was it their skill or was it their weight that you had a problem with?
Oh, it was their weight.
Yeah.
But a guy like Zach Randolph, his skill and his weight was a issue. Was an issue, let me tell you. But what I would do if Jamal Murray does not play, I'm fronting Jokic all day long. I'm daring whoever else. You getting 15 shots tonight. I don't care. Let me look down this line. Dario Saric, you getting 15 shots. Zeke Naji, you getting fit. Somebody else other than Jokic, because I know that's a one-dimensional player who hasn't played a lot, who is going to come in there and get minutes. Somebody got to get minutes. So I'm fronting Jokic, anybody but Jokic tonight.
I watched Jokic, play against Phoenix, and they tried to front him, tried to do a lot of stuff. The dude is so smart. He pushes you up the lane, or he'll go set a pick, right? Yeah. When you front him, drag you with him, and before you know it, the guy who's fronting him You so far behind him. He's like, the ball was over here, now the ball's over there, and you're the defender, and now Jokic is looking at you like, I got this layup right here.
He knows it all. He knows it all.
Super intelligent.
By the way, Dario Saric, Zeke Naji have not played in this series.
No, hey, listen,
you got to go 15 shots tonight.
This is do or die, brother.
They're more likely getting 0 shots or seconds on the floor.
I'll just name it, folks.
SGA is going to get some shots. He's got a chance to close out the Nuggets.
What can you tell us about Jamal's illness? When did you become aware of it? And is it a continuation of what you guys dealt with against the Clippers, or is it something entirely new?
I found out this morning. I'm not a doctor. I have seen outbreak, but he is definitely sick and questionable up until the tip. So we've talked about, before anybody asks, who will start in his place. There's a lot of ways we could go. So good options, but obviously hoping Jamal plays.
Jamal Murray's status still up in the air. You see what he has done in elimination games over the course of his playoff career. We couldn't narrow it down to elimination games in which he's sick. But
yeah,
if he's available, he's certainly capable of this sort of thing. 2 questions for you. Have you seen Outbreak?
I've seen Outbreak, yes.
Okay, and
great move.
Who's going to win this game tonight?
I'm taking Denver at home, and if Murray plays while he's sick, I think he's going to play well, and I got Denver winning.
Okay.
Oh, I got OKC by 12. I just think they're going to be in a better rhythm. I think they're like, hey, this is our chance. This is our chance, and I don't think they're going to take – they know how important a break is for this young body, and so I got OKC by 6.
I lean toward OKC, especially because of the depth, especially if Murray's not available.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Have you seen Outbreak? You
and if they don't win by 12,
sure.
y'all get Channing because he the one predicted that.
See it for press conference coverage.
Moving the needle.